Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am not your mama's astrologer. Welcome to the week. We made it. Looks like we made it. It's Monday. I mean, maybe that's not a gift or a reward to any of you out there, but it is astrologically speaking because we are moving out of April. And I have known for a long time and have given it to you in morsels that April is the hardest astrological month of the year. So congratulations. Pat yourself on the back, shed a tear and thank April for the memories because it is moving on out. And I love this for us because Mercury is now direct. We've got some really yummy astrology happening this week because Mars tomorrow is moving into Aries where it's exalted there. Aries, the warrior, you're going to feel so much more energy. You're going to feel more directed. There's going to be more intention. There's going to be more oomph in your step and ability to accomplish. Whereas before, Mars was in Pisces, and this is a very surrendery energy, I can't get it all the way done by myself, and it could feel very grief oriented. Maybe you guys have been experiencing just a lot of having to let go, a lot of having to grieve what isn't so anymore, and a lot of big change. That's really what April brought, was a lot of hijinks in the form of transformation. Because we're not really full functioning human beings if we aren't changing. The very notion that we all stay the same all the time is the reason why as we get older, we feel like our parents don't understand us as much, or even our spouses if we've been married for a really long time, or our siblings or our friends from elementary school. These things can be so where, you have these routinized interactions with people that knew you when you were so many different versions of you before. That could have been a theme. You could have been noticing, gosh, I've really outgrown the energy that I became complacent to this month. And so now here comes Mars moving into its exalted sign of Aries. We're stoked. We're ready. Instead of feeling helpless and having to surrender and grieve, we're ready to have some forward motion. And I think that the thing that makes this really special is that Venus too today moved into a sign that she is exalted in, which is Taurus, because it's ruled by Venus. And so here we are, we've got the masculine and the feminine working and conspiring in our favor. So I would be remiss if I didn't recommend, doing the balance game. How is your masculine side? How is your feminine side? What is your yin to your yang to your yin? How are you operating in a full spectrum kind of way? Because that is what we have access to right now. We have access to both sides of ourselves. And that can be really powerful because Mars can get shit done and Venus can enjoy and reap the rewards of what we got done. It could be a major focus on materialistic things, finances, because Venus moving into Taurus, we're going to want ease. We're going to want more kindness. We're going to want more patience. We're going to want to move a little slower. It's Venus affects our relationships. So there's this vibe of whoa. What has really been successful over this last bit of time and what has really been not successful? And how can I see it from both sides, the masculine side and the feminine side? And I think that it's really important because I don't know that a lot of us have our masculine and feminine balanced. I think we tend to lean one way or the other. When I am dysregulated, lean into my masculine self and can be extremely aloof and a little bit aggressive and a little bit cut you off and a little bit well, let's go. When really this Venus in Taurus is saying, yes, let's go, but vibey. But pretty girls walk like this, bitch, how do we do it with style, with pizzazz? How do we have our jazz hands at the ready to take over the world? I think this is great. I think if the world had perfectly balanced masculine, feminine energy, we wouldn't get so caught up in war, in our sentiments, in our emotions. We would have a balance of the two. Because I think maybe something that's happened over this last month is eclipse season has happened, full moons have happened. There's been so much that's happened that we victimize ourselves. We go into this, why does this always happen to me? Why always me? You know, this feeling of being beat down by the day-to-day life and rituals that we engage in every day that keep us down. I think I said last week, my negative self-talk was really keeping me down. And I really saw that this month. And I could, retreat and go into a victim place. I could feel, really dumb for doing that. Or I could, pick myself up and say, hey, I know that this week I'm going to be more resourced. So how do I tackle this problem of negative self-speak? That's just my example. What's your example? Take a minute and think about the thing that you've noticed over the last month that's really held you back. Be honest. None of us are perfect, brah. If you're sitting there being like, I ain't got no work, this podcast ain't for you, because, we want to be working. We want to be striving, and we want to be seeing the other side of our proverbial coins, because when we're always just flipping tails, then we don't get to see what the head side of reality is. There's so much to see when we're willing to let go of what we think we know. And my excuse was I toil on the outside so that I don't hold it on the inside, so that I can get over it, so that I can move forward, because the toiling, once I'm finished, the solution arrives. Okay, Jasmine, that could be true. It is true, because it is my routine. It's what I've done always. But I'm willing to release this victim inside of me that says that's what I need in order to find the solution. What if, in this very balanced masculine feminine phase that we get to go through this week, what if I said, instead of having to toil, there must be a solution to it without the toil? How do I take out the toil of my negative self-talk? How do I, instead look at a problem with optimism and solution-based thinking, instead of, oh my God, I'm so dumb, or I can't do that, or I'll never be able to, fill in any negative association blank there. I think we can all do that for sure, is, well, I'm not good at that, or I don't like that. And then we negate the very notion of exploring the why behind why we don't think we can do that, behind why we don't like that, behind why, when things get hard, we don't want to push ourselves. This is a pushy week. Push yourselves, because also heading into May, it's a very, very Jupiter-infused month. Jupiter is the planet of optimism, of philosophy, of seeking, of good fortune, of right timing, and a little bit of universal trust, right? This whole month that we're heading into, we're going to have this opportunity to be rewarded. But we don't get rewarded just sitting on the couch. Jasmine ain't going to get rewarded sitting toiling away. Oh my God, I hate people that refer to themselves in third person. Consider that never going to happen again. I do not think my solution is going to come, or my reward-based reality is going to come sitting and toiling on the couch. That's not going to happen. Or waking up saying my back hurts, or my head hurts, or I'm tired. What if I just said those things maybe are givens, okay? Maybe my back is a little sore in the morning. But how can I instead stop talking about it and start having a more lived experience? This is a way that's really easy to disassociate. If you are verbalizing it, then your energy sucking the rest of the room. The rest of the vibe is totally held hostage to your verbal assaults. My verbal assaults. Maybe you do this, maybe you don't. Again, I hope you've had time to think about and process the thing that you do that feels like you're really holding yourself back. Maybe you go through cycles of exercising and then you don't. Maybe you feel really crappy about yourself for not having the fitness. And to me, it's microdosing. You guys, it's baby steps. It's not, we have to go from zero exercise to freaking marathon. We don't have to do that. Just noticing first. Okay, I'm not exercising enough. Okay, I toil in the morning. Okay, I don't clean the house and get really messy towards the end of the week, and then it's a nightmare. Okay, so we're not asking you to not be you. Okay, I'm always, probably because I am such a verbal person, in case you haven't noticed, a very verbal human being. And so it's irrational to say I'm not gonna say some shit sometimes, that I'm not gonna spew my own negativity all over myself in the room collectively. That's totally not realistic. But what I do know is that I'm aware of it. And what I do know is that if I can just say, I am not gonna say anything in the morning if I don't have anything nice to say. Right? Isn't that what our parents used to teach us? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I'm going to wake up in the mornings and not say anything if I don't have anything good to say. And then at night, maybe I'm going to think of all the good things there are to say, all the things I have to be grateful for. These are 2 very small shifts. Okay. And then whatever, toil the whole rest of the day if you need to. But see how the morning and the evening feel. Okay. If you aren't on an exercise track and you really want to be, I know our summer body bull crap, agenda is coming up, which I think is complete crap, by the way. I think that we should just have healthy bodies, not summer bodies or winter bodies, but just bodies that make us feel good. So on that note, instead of feeling like you need to sign up for the Boston Marathon, instead sit with yourself and be like, how can I consciously insert exercise into my daily life and ritual? How can I take the stairs instead of the elevator? How can I park a little farther away from work? How can I take the steps twice instead of once? How can I do squats when I'm doing the dishes? That's what I do because I listen to really ridiculous 90s angsty music, and I like to do my squats when I'm doing dishes because it makes the dishes not so lame because I'm listening to music and doing squats, and it makes me feel good about myself. So I infuse 2 things that really assert goodness. So it's as simple as that, Instead of being down on yourself that you don't do any crunches, do 5 crunches every day. It's micro movements, it's micro dosing. It's saying I gently want to bring both sides of myself together. I want to accomplish and I want to rest. I want to be free thinking, and I also want to have an opinion. It's really important that we start balancing, because that's what masculine and feminine energy is inside of us. It's a balance. It's how we trudge forward in the world and retreat back. It's how we hold each other, but then hold each other accountable. It's both. We can't be successful human beings if we aren't at least being honest with ourselves and at least doing small, negotiable tactics to help us find a better, more balanced version of ourselves. I remember this one time I had so much negative self-talk that I decided to, every time I consciously recognized that I was saying, thinking, or doing something that was in alignment with negative self-talk, I would put a little line in a pen on my arm. And by the end of that day, no joke, you guys, from my middle finger tip all the way up to my collarbone, I had marks. And those were just the ones I was conscious of. It was a very small exercise. It took one day to do, but boy, did it change how I perceived myself, because I don't think I'm that bad. I know you're not that bad. I know none of us deserve that kind of negative self-talks or self-thought or self-action. So just that little exercise was the beginning for me of a lot of healing, of when those thoughts would come up, trying to heal them, trying to say, well, what would you say to your best friend who said that about themselves? You wouldn't even let them, because you'd be like, that's ridiculous. Well, why can't we do that for ourselves? It's so hard to take care of ourselves. But I feel like we're infused this week with natural ability to see both sides, to take action, and to heal. And I think that you're going to notice that things start working out more, that things start flowing more, that you have more energy and natural optimism for what's ahead. The other big thing that's happening this week is Pluto's going to go retrograde. It'll be the only planet retrograde, actually, which is so cool. And Pluto spends a lot of time retrograde, so this isn't a big deal, you guys. It's not like, fire and brimstone or anything, but it is chronicled that it's happening this week. So having a moment of reflection in what Pluto moving into Aquarius, which happened in January and February, the notion of what was the theme? in the new year for you? What was needing to change? Because Aquarius is innovative. It needs, a revolution of sorts, which I know I spoke to a lot when it was happening. And now that it's going retrograde for a little while, it's the notion of where's the work? Did we change enough? Where is the pockets in our life that need this revolution? And we're going to start to see it. And then we're going to have this beautiful Mars-Venus vibe where we have the insight, foresight, and fortitude to go forward and move with that. So, when I talk about astrology, the vibe is you get to work with this energy or not. We all are a choose your own adventure reality. We all live in, we get to be accountable or not. We get to change things or not. But my call that I'd like you to heed this week is that there are great rewards on the other side of putting in the work now. So do it, you guys. Put in the work. If you want any help on where Mars and Venus fall in your chart, where the true juicy bits are, I'm doing a micro reading, 30-minute readings on where your Mars and Venus is transiting, how this is affecting you, what part of your life it's in, and where you can get the most juice out of this transit. So 30 minutes, $50. You're welcome to message me on any of the platforms. Thank you for listening and liking and subscribing, whatever platform you are on. It helps me continue to do these podcasts. I hope that this week brings some really beautiful clarity. I hope that this week feels like, now it's working. Now we're getting our engines going. I hope that this week there is a horizon that you can see that is so far beyond the annoyances of the day-to-day reality, because the truth is we're here for a short amount of time on this planet. And there's so many reminders every day of how we can be grateful, of what is beautiful, of how we're beautiful, of how we have what we have and why. And that if we are waking up every day in a very conscious way, if we are waking up and saying, I am going to have a good day, this is going to be a great day, I am manifesting a beautiful day. Wow, the day might not be perfect, but I guarantee you it'll be different than if you woke up saying, my back hurts and I'm tired and I can't believe it's Monday. We all hate Mondays, right? But we don't have to. We really don't. It's a choice. We make choices every single day to adhere to this weird, stereotypical standard of a case of the Mondays, of everything begins again in the worst way possible on Mondays. And that's just not true. Mondays can be vibey and cool too. Monday is the moon's day. So we feel into our feelings a little bit more. We do tend to have a little bit more resistance. But if we dig into the why of that, I think we could change a lot of our daily life and rituals, but it starts with the desire to want to. It starts with one push-up, not 30. It starts with one loving affirmation, not 50. And it starts with one kind gesture, not a million. It doesn't take an overhaul to change your world. It just takes you conscious and showing up and saying, I want to. And I hope you want to, because I want to too. And the card I pulled is a leg up. I love that card, a leg up, which means exactly what I was speaking to, that Jupiter is going to come and bless whoever is doing this work. Not the people laying on the couch not doing anything, not the people continuing to toil in the morning, directing that at myself, but the people that are willing to shift and change and say, this isn't working anymore. And if I changed it, I wonder what could be possible. Beginner's mind and curiosity go a long way in healing and good fortune. And may you guys be blessed with loads of good fortune. Can't wait to talk to you next week. Take care.